In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful, all praise is due to God, the Alpha and Omega, the Lord of the eternal heaven, the great architect of the universe, and the creator of all things made. O God, hasten the emergence of your chosen beloved, grant him good health and victory, make us his best companions, and all those who attest to his rightfulness. Your Excellencies, members of the federal government, judges of the Supreme Court, ambassadors, citizens of Lost Island, dear friends. As is our tradition, before we welcome the beginning of a new year, I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts and input about the situation in Lost Island and in greater communities, and take this opportunity to talk about our future plans. The 2017 will definitely be remembered as the year when we introduced identity cards. Now every Lost Island citizen is able to show his affiliation to our organization with the most obvious and simple yet elegant way, by displaying his identity document with the Lost Icelandic banner. In doing so, we in fact outperformed many UN member states, including Russia, where our headquarters are located, and which has yet to introduce identity cards. We also established 2 new embassies, in Andorra and in Pakistan, and prepared ground to opening a Lost Island embassy in the United States, which undoubtedly will play an important role in further development of our organization. Overall, this year was not characterized by any serious turmoils inside our organization, but sadly the same cannot be said about the world we live in. And one of the most serious problems faced by the contemporary society is, I believe, the almost universal application of double standards. The ongoing clash in the Middle East can be summarized by one question: what is more acceptable, bombing civilians in Aleppo or bombing civilians in Mosul? All sides of the conflict have been involved in activities of questionable moral standards, yet they all have been blaming each other and never admitting their own fault. A similar situation is with an unprecedented since the end of the Cold War attack on the freedom of press, which resulted from the conflict between Russia and the United States. The decision of the Russian and American authorities to designate each other's news sources as so-called foreign agent is discriminative and attacks the fundamental right of every man, the right to access information. And I wonder sometimes if the architects of this Cold War II realized it themselves, how similar they are to each other, how the witch hunt against Russian influence in the West and against Western influence in Russia are like the best practices of the Soviet era, practices described by George Orwell in his exemplary novel 1984. Lost Island is a very small organization, but we are not entirely devoid of influence. Among our members, there are prominent businessmen, artists, scholars, diplomats, members of the national elites, and as we are nearing the 2018, I call on you to intensify our forces on building a more just and balanced new world order based on mutual interests instead of politicking and scapegoating each other, on economic cooperation and respect to our diversity and plurality of opinions. And to accomplish this goal, it is important that we gather as many supporters as possible in each and every government of the world. It is time for us to understand that some differences may not, and most importantly, need not to be overcome. Instead, it is our responsibility before this planet and before the great architect of the universe who created it to coexist while respecting them. We live in a world which is becoming increasingly more connected and interdependent, and cheap politicking based on appeals to fake patriotism and hatred for other nations and simply those with a different viewpoint will soon become a thing of the past. No matter how hard traditional politics try to prolong its demise, it is already inevitable. The Republic of Estonia, the first nation in the world to introduce the concept of e-residency, recently announced it intends on becoming also the first country to introduce its own cryptocurrency, the Estcoin. Only time will tell whether this venture is successful or not, but one thing is certain: it is a clear mark that we all are entering a completely new era to which traditional governments and ways of governance no longer belong. And let's make sure that Lost Island, which is so dear to us, plays her role in this new world order, which just appeared on the horizon. Thank you for your attention and Happy New Year! Gelukkig Nieuwjaar! Mutlu Yelar! Feliz Año Nuevo! S Novым годом!